You're here with the Woo Ninjas, your trustworthy team of WordPress, e-learning, and WooCommerce experts. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to migrate WooCommerce from another e-commerce platform. And as many of you know, WooCommerce is widely used e-commerce platform. Actually around 30% of all e-commerce stores use WooCommerce. And pretty much due to its easy to use user interface and easy integration, WooCommerce is the go-to platform for online store owners. So if you're using another e-commerce platform and are looking to make the switch, we're here to help. In this video, we'll walk you through the process of migrating to WooCommerce quickly and easily. So first off, we're Woo Ninjas. We've been in the WooCommerce Buddy Boss Learn Dash space for over 7 years. We have hundreds of satisfied clients, so if you do need any help on this, make sure to go to the bottom of the Woo Ninjas website and just fill in your information, and we're happy to reach out to you and help. But if you want to do this all yourself, this video is for you. The process of migrating from each platform is unique, and it totally depends on your current e-commerce content management system. Most of our WooCommerce migration requests come from the two big companies in the space, Shopify and Magento. Now it's Adobe Commerce. It's pretty understandable because these two are now the biggest other competitors in the space. So once you've actually decided to make this move to WooCommerce, let's see how you can actually migrate the data. And there are 3 ways to do it. There is manual migration, there is also using the migration tool, and there's hiring an expert, which could be us, Woo Ninjas. Okay, let's dive into manual migration. This is the WordPress admin dashboard. And say you've downloaded a CSV file from your Shopify product inventory or your Magento product inventory. And we go over, okay, how do we actually put this into our WooCommerce store? Well, we go down to Tools and we go to Import. From there, we go down to WooCommerce Product CSV and we run that importer. Here we go over and we see we're met with this import products from a CSV file. Remember, if you're starting off fresh, keep this box unchecked. If you already have some products in your WooCommerce store, make sure to check it so it doesn't just wipe it all clean. And then we choose a file and we go continue. And this is where we actually map the different fields from, say, Shopify or a Magento to the actual WooCommerce fields. This is not a good sheet, but we go, okay, these are the different names we need to look for WooCommerce, sales date, tax status, tax class, and you make sure that all of them are mapped perfectly. Remember, if you don't map this right, it's better to just erase and do it again. So it takes a lot of attention to detail to do this part. After you've mapped it, you say run the importer. I'm not going to do this in this example, but this is the process of manual migration. So there's a few tools out there for transferring your store from either Magento, Shopify, or another e-commerce store over to WooCommerce. One example of this is Import-Export Suite for WooCommerce, and another example is the Cart-to-Cart application. And we're going to dive deeper into this one because it's a great solution. Basically, the pricing isn't completely transparent. You're going to actually have to choose your stores, the number of products, the number of customers, and it's a more product per customer per order pricing structure. So if we were to choose Shopify, for example, to WooCommerce, you can get a free demo now. It's a good way to start, but let's jump into this. So why this is such a great solution is because it allows your existing store to keep running during the migration and there's no site downtime, which is huge. The process is actually quite similar to migrating your products manually. You link the carts in your old store to the carts in the new store, install additional connection bridge on WordPress, either manually or automatically, and connect your cart. From there, you select all the data you want to migrate to your new site and map it to the appropriate WooCommerce fields. And since I'm not actually doing a migration right now, I can't do that, but it's a very straightforward process. And after that, you launch the migration and wait for it to successfully complete. And what's great, they have good support. It's a paid solution, so you can be pretty trustworthy that it's going to work, and they actually have some very good reviews as well. So while using one of these migration tools like Cart to Cart It works well enough provided that you map your fields perfectly, because if you're migrating from Shopify over to WooCommerce and just one field is messed up, you might have to redo the entire migration process because it's hard to custom edit. And migrating from Magento to WooCommerce can be even a little bit more difficult because the fields are quite a bit different than the fields that are on Shopify. So they're a little bit different, and that causes a lot more customization and making sure that you don't mess up any of the different fields so your products get imported perfectly along with your customers and your purchases. So, and the main disadvantage I did bring up earlier is this is an all-for-one solution, so it does not take into consideration the unique requirements of each website. Also, as you can see, it does bill, not very transparently, by the number of products, customers, and orders. So if you have a small site, it's not too bad. But if you have a big site with many different variations and products, the price can very quickly get expensive, very expensive. And that brings us to our third way of migrating from either Shopify, Magento, or any other e-commerce site over to WooCommerce, and that's by hiring an expert. And we are one of the few options out there. We are Woo Ninjas. We've been in business over 7 years, helped hundreds of clients. And if you go to our website down to the bottom, you put in your information, read this page first, we can help you do that very easily and stress-free. So it can always be a little risky when you're doing this on your own to make sure you're mapping the CSV fields right. And if anything were to go wrong in your importation process, you cannot count on anyone to help you along the process. Hence, one of the safest options is to get a professional to come help you on the process. Sit down with you if there's any technical errors. We can make sure we can fix them as soon as possible, and we can even walk you through the entire process and do it for you. So there are a few advantages of migrating with a WooCommerce expert like Woo Ninjas. Your website's in very safe hands, and we have just trusted experts on staff who know almost everything about not only these transfers and migrations, but also about WooCommerce in general. And they can help you migrate in one of the fastest amounts of time possible, so there's zero downtime for your store, and then there's no issues when you're coming over to having a fresh, new WooCommerce store. Having said that, migrating with an expert can appear to be a little bit more costly. However, the knowledge and reliability is worth every penny, and just knowing that it's going to be a stress-free experience as compared to doing it yourself. If you calculate the time and effort migrating yourself, if something does become an issue, you're going to end up hiring an expert anyways to sort out the problem. So it's better to start with an expert from the beginning just to make this all work out for you. So in conclusion, there are 3 ways of doing it. You can do it completely manually with the CSV file. There is the cart-to-cart option where you're actually using an application to do the transfer over, and there's a fee for doing that. And then there is the hire an expert option to just make sure it gets done right the first time. And if anything does come up, you can always ask an expert when you have an expert doing it to make sure that you have 0 problems, because your store is your money, your store is your business. So let us know if you have any questions in the comments. Also, feel free to go to Woo Ninjas, go to the bottom, fill out the form if you have any inquiries about services. We're happy to help you. See you all in the next video.